Chosen is a game about player choice. The player makes consequential decisions physically and verbally in order to figure out the looping day cycle. This game is essentially a Groundhog's Day style loop, where the day's sequence has reoccurring events. Breaking any part of the sequence gives the player telekinesis and awakens something inside of them. In order to escape the loop, certain actions and decisions must be made to achieve the ending. The main rules are really that there are no rules. Essentially, when the player breaks out of the way things should be, they awaken abilities. Doing so has consequences. Choosing to use the abilities in front of NPC characters like their parents, classmates, teachers, etc., will bring in a sort of FBI-looking team to take them down. Following the day's events as a typical student child will result in the loop restarting again. Getting killed restarts the loop. Clock strikes midnight, the loop restarts. The player is actively searching for ways to escape the loop. If that means getting captured and trying to find answers in the FBI base or by fleeing into the hills to see what is out there. Essentially, curiosity and willingness to explore will result in finding these pieces of memory. Collecting all the fragments will result in the end sequence of the game. Fighting against the player, you'll find that time, FBI, and eventually a dark entity are coming after you. The player is given abilities that are very powerful and destructive, so they are not left vulnerable when the situation calls for defense. Let's start with the morning sequence as an example of player decisions. The player wakes up to an alarm clock, flashing 7 a.m. The mother calls to get dressed and get ready for school. The player can walk over to the dresser, equip their clothes, or choose not to. After, say, 15 seconds, the mother comes in and forcibly dresses you. They can continue to resist and then awaken telekinesis, or just listen to her and continue as normal. Getting dressed leads to eating breakfast shortly after and then getting into the car. Along all these scripted events are moments to break free. After breaking free, there are forces willing to subdue the player. If they stun and capture the player, they are brought to a facility until midnight. If the player kills too many forces, they will get lethal and attempt to kill them back. The theme is psychological mystery meets action, a story of someone resisting control in order to figure out what they are dealing with. The game is played in first person with a limited HUD for immersion. The game is viewed from a monochromatic lens until the player breaks free and sees in full color. This game is like a combination of Every Day the Same Dream, Control, and PsyOps, the Mindgate Conspiracy. The way this game is different, though, is that it is played almost like a movie. A set event of sequences happens every day. It's a small-scale, open environment featuring a town, forest, and surrounding coastline. Considering the play possibilities, this gives the player a lot to experiment with when deciding where to break from the loop. They will potentially enjoy trying to disrupt the system and find clues to fragments of memory. They can enjoy the power fantasy of telekinesis and short-range flight. There will be many moments to discover and things to keep track of as they explore. The beauty of this game is that all the moments are scripted, and it's a matter of defining what happens when it happens. Having this all written out ahead of time makes this not that difficult. The biggest risk is going to be art, of course, and having the time to get the assets made so that they can be put to use quickly.